I've been thinking about myself today, thinking how I changed, how I really don't care if you are here or if you don't stay. Now I'm feeling those winter blues, but I don't wanna cry. 'Cause all we ever do is laugh it off, and I'm sick and I don't know why.
Hello, welcome to the Copper Pot B&B Kitchen. Today it's a very snowy, wintry day here in New England, which is very typical for March. And I'm going to be spending it making a layered cake for my brother. It's his birthday on the 27th, and I just kind of want to go into what goes into what I would like to put into a cake. So, cake and we have a very long history. So I've been making cake for years, and I always hated it because it was always dry, too sweet. So I have developed 4 aspects of a cake that I do every single time I make a cake. It doesn't matter what flavor. So the first is obviously the cake recipe. So when I first started, I would do the typical cake recipe, which is basically creaming the butter and the sugar together first, and then adding in all the other ingredients. And I tried it recently, actually, probably within the last year. I've tried this new method called, well, I don't know if it's new, but it's new to me, the reverse creaming method. So basically what you do is you take the oil, the butter, the fat, and you incorporate into the flour first. So it coats the flour, and it just makes for a more delicate and allows for more moisture. I'm sure there's some scientific reason for that, but it just tastes better. And the second thing is really important. I've tried making cakes without this, and I feel like it's just not as good. So I tried to use a cream, a pudding, a custard to put in between the layers, and it really just adds so much flavor, and it helps keep the layers, a cake can kind of dry out. It helps keep it tasty and allows moisture to stay within the cake, which is very important with cakes, in my opinion. And the third thing is I always, for the most part, unless it's like a carrot cake, I always have a fruit component to the cakes. So I'll do like a compote, fresh fruit, things like that. I think it just adds interest in the textures, the flavors. It kind of gives it a little bit more acidity sometimes to kind of balance out all the fat and the sweet. So that's really important. I think I pretty much always have a fruit aspect. And then the fourth thing is the frosting, which is very important when it comes to cakes. And you can't just do the basic American buttercream. I've tried liking, American buttercream, but I just feel like it doesn't have the complexities that I'm looking for. I really want something that's not too overly sweet, but also, has that creamy texture, but also flavorful. So I usually go for a cream cheese. That's a fan favorite, a cream cheese frosting. But I, for the most part, do a Swiss meringue buttercream, which is basically where you melt some sugar and some egg whites, and then you whip it up until it comes to stiff peaks, and then you incorporate butter into it. So it's not too overly sweet because you're not really relying on the powdered sugar to thicken it. You're really relying on the egg white, so you don't really need to put too much sugar in there. But you still get that whipped consistency, and also because you add butter into it, it tastes really buttery. So it's really delicious, and it's one of my go-to recipes. So those are my 4 aspects of a cake that I will always do no matter what flavor. So I'm gonna go into what this birthday cake is. So first, these are my cake layers. I already made them. I froze them ahead of time. It just saves time. This is a pistachio cake. I added a little bit of green food coloring, which it kind of looks a little like St. Patrick's Day, but I'm just gonna go with it, pretend that's what I was going for. So that and this, I did use a reverse creaming method for this cake recipe. I haven't tried this specific one because I've never made a pistachio cake, but that's something that my brother really enjoys is pistachio, and that leads me on to the yogurt, please. Okay, so the next aspect I used a vanilla pudding recipe, but instead of putting vanilla in it, because we're kind of going for more pistachio and then also the fruit aspect is cherry, I wanted to put almond extract. I mean, you can use vanilla extract in this as well, but I went for almond extract instead of the vanilla. So that's what I have for my, and I used just a pudding. I didn't use like a custard or, you know, any fancy French cream or anything like that. And then for the fruit compote, I used frozen cherries. So frozen fruit is definitely something you can utilize with things like this. So I put like half a bag of frozen cherries. I put some lemon juice in there, a little bit of sugar, and I thickened this with cornstarch. But you can also, if you don't have any cornstarch, which sometimes I don't have, I always have chia seeds on hand. And that's actually kind of an interesting way to thicken a compote. But it's kind of fun, and also, you know, it's a little surprise in there, and it gives you a little extra fiber and a little extra omega-3 fatty acids. So that is another way that you can do it. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I still have to make the frosting. I'm gonna do that today. So I'll bring you along with me to make that, and then we'll color the frostings, and then we'll decorate. So that is the game plan for today. So come along with me.